Hello YouTube, this is Silver Age Dave, and this video is coming out Sunday, which is Easter. During the hours you're not spending time with your family, celebrating such a great event, then I thought I'd leave you guys with a video. And what better subject matter could I possibly choose than some of these books, which tend in the comic collecting community tend to be a little bit on the obscure side. Some people have not seen these or don't know about them, but there are a series of books. Some of these I think were relatively regional and maybe weren't nationally sent out, but there's some cool ones. So we're just going to work through this a little bit alphabetical. I thought we'd start out with this issue here, which is Francis, Brother of the Universe. Okay, a lot of people know St. Francis. Or have heard of St. Francis. Well, this is a 75-cent book. This came out, let's see, what year? 1980. And these are generally one-shots, so you just have issue number 1. This is a beautiful copy. I've got a couple of these, and it says here, 1980 Marvel Comics Group and the Franciscan Communications Office of New York. So this is one that I didn't know if this came out nationally. This was written by Mary Jo Duffy, art by Marie Severin, and it's set up just beautifully. The art is wonderful. Now, when you want to read one of these, it is a story. You're committing to quite a bit in written form, but the art's beautiful, and this basically will teach you all about St. Francis. And here's a letter, the story behind the story. Okay, and so just a beautiful comic book, and there's probably no advertisement in here for the X-ray vision with the scantily clad lady like used to be. Just a joke. It's really not in here, though. I don't see it. So it talks about Christmas, and it talks about other facts. So that's a good one. If anyone's out there and they say, "Man, I've never heard of that," you can go on eBay. These things don't run terribly expensive, but I think they're beautiful. That's a Mylar copy for me. Like I say, I've got a couple more. I think they're just cool, kind of off the beaten path. So we've got that one. Our next one here is one of my favorites, but again, it's a heavier read. This is The Life of Pope John Paul II. Anyone who doesn't know this guy, Ronald Reagan attributes the wall coming down in Germany to Pope John Paul. Pope John Paul basically didn't care about boundaries. He didn't pay attention to that stuff. He just went where he wanted to go. And there's a great story of him when he went to visit Germany. They said, "Oh, you can only be here a little bit," and the crowds were so big and there were so many people that the German government couldn't restrict him, and he basically went where he went, and that was that. And Ronald Reagan sometimes is attributed with one of the world leaders responsible for taking that wall down in Germany, but he attributed it to Pope John Paul and the work that he did. So this book, I'll show you real quick the interior. Again, it's a fascinating story. Pope John Paul, a true saint. He should have died many times. He was in, during Hitler's days, the priests in general were being heavily persecuted, and Pope John Paul, Poland. A lot of people know the Jews were victims, terrible victims in the Holocaust, but there were so many other nationalities, and Poles were certainly targeted, but priests especially. And Pope John Paul would, he should have been in the concentration camps. He should have not survived the war, but he did, and that was God's will. And so this is a wonderful story. There's lots of reading in here that you can do and find out about this great man. And I think this leaves off, this is from 1982. So, obviously it's not the full story of Pope John Paul, St. Pope John Paul II, but it's a tremendous read, and it'll get you far enough into the story where you'll understand the magnitude this man brought. He really changed everything. So there's an actual picture of the Pope. All right, so that's a great book. I highly recommend it. Again, I've got a bunch of these. I pick them up when I can on the cheap. It's more of an obscure title. Like I say, a lot of people don't know about them, so I like to get when the getting's good. The next one is actually falls under the title. Some people have heard of March of Comics. Sorry, I didn't have that one marked in here. Marvel. So March of Comics was a comic series. Generally, a lot of people know it. Early on, there was some, some Western stuff. There was Santa Claus, but you also had Donald Duck and Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry, and you had all that. But they had a few different versions of this Life of Christ series, a Christmas story, and they had a Christmas Eve one also. They had some Christmassy stuff, but this was kind of a neat one, and there's a few different versions of it that came out, and so that's one of them, and that's one of them, and then that's one of them, Life of Christ. Okay, and I don't have these marked with the years, but this one is one of the newer ones, and it's a full color. Okay, $2.99. It's got a quote here from Matthew, and the star which they had seen in the east went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceedingly great joy. Okay, so these are beautiful. I don't know if Legend or Alex the Comic Hoarder have any of these, but they're lovely comic books, and I never mind giving these to the kids. This is a reader copy of them, but the other ones are, this is obviously, it's just a different cover version of the same thing. I think that was a reissue, and then that's again the same thing. Marvel Comics, Nelson. See, all right. So guys, that is missed what is possibly the most important one. So let me flip my page here. So this is Mother Teresa of Calcutta, another saint. Okay, so we're really killing it here. And Mother Teresa, if you haven't read her story, she has so many great quotes. She spoke at a Harvard commencement and basically tongue-lashed everybody in the crowd and told them, look, you can't be worried about money. You have the opportunity to change things and to be active in our world and better things. And don't think about yourself, think of the world, and so. It's a great speech she gave there, but she basically was afraid of no one. This is a lady who went and lived, and she served the poorest of the poor. She lived in conditions that were atrocious. No one would willingly choose to live in the conditions she did. And she did that willingly and joyfully her whole life. And so this is Mother Teresa Calcutta. I'm not going to open it up. That's from 1984. It's 52 pages with no ads. And this one was a gift I gave to my lovely wife, inside and out. Okay, and so that is in this holder. I have a couple more of these also. I think they're absolutely beautiful. If you're going to read a comic anyway, this stuff is factual and accurate, and basically, these three specifically tell the story of wonderful human beings, and I would encourage you to go out and buy yourself some of those, or if you see them somewhere, pick them up. They are well worth the money. So with that, Silver Age Dave is going to wish you the safest, happiest Easter holiday. God bless. Silver is out.